Welcome to the Reese Report. I'm the mouth of North Andrew Reese, and we are back for what's bothering us. See, every week I decide to do a show where we have a little therapy, we have a little kumbaya, a little woosah show. Because yeah, a lot of stuff happens during the week. It gets on your nerves, you keep it inside. No, you got to get it out. So we get it out on this show. So for this week, I'm going to ask Gil, please remember to click like and subscribe. We work hard on these shows. We want you to watch. We want you to subscribe. We want you to get to know us. We want your comments. So let us know what you think. But right now, I want to know what Gil thinks. Gil, what bothered you this week?
Oh, what bothered me was the Green Bay Packers. So Green Bay, I don't like. So they work hard to keep Rodgers, and then they shit the bed on not helping him. So worked hard to get Rodgers. Now he's out there and he's with rookies, old man fart Cobb, which he's injured now. What was their solution? They went to sign the practice squad Baker. I don't know. I don't even know who the hell Baker is. That's their solution is give Rogers Baker from the practice squad. Like it's frustrating. They gotta help the guy. He's not young, so if they wanted to keep him, you got to give him a team to win now. Not think of rookies, not think of none of that stuff. Because if that was the case, should have let him go and rebuild. They decided to keep him. Adams didn't stay. They should have just grabbed someone else or Beckham, somebody
Mm-hmm.
to help him out, not just leave him hanging out dry.
Yeah.
The other thing is the Denver Broncos. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. Wilson, it's frustrating watching this Bronco team because they have so much potential. All the weapons are there. They have three wideouts. They had two running backs. They had the great defense. They had all hocus pocus for the championship here. They're shitting the bed. I still have a little bit of faith in them. Um, but yeah, that and then I was in Miami and then I watched the video of Anthony Malfera on our hockey game jump off the bench, go face first to the floor, embarrass himself. After he fell face first to the floor, I would have just went back to the bench after that embarrassment.
Yeah. What happened there was he jumped. I was beside him and he jumped on top of the boards and I tried to hold him back and he shoved my arm away and fell on his face.
Yeah, but he's trying to be intimidating, and then he falls face first.
I know. I
You
know.
know, no, that's like Ty Domi
Yes.
trying to go fight somebody, and then he runs and skates, and his skate falls off, and then all of a sudden he's on the floor, right?
Yes. Yes.
So Anthony, like smart enough. At least he could have made it look better. Two
Well,
games.
the goalie we had made me miss you. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, that's good
Yeah,
to hear.
because we
That's
had
good
we
to
had
hear.
Gatnow's brother in net and he allowed 8. So that
Wow.
wasn't fun. That was not fun. And Gallo's firing from his own red line and scoring. So like it was not fun. But we outscored them 10-8. Somehow found a way to win that game. But yes, Malfera, your suspension has been reduced to 1 game on appeal. So you can thank Jose for that. But you still got to pay the $25 fine. So find that money somewhere. Okay.
Did Labau get anything?
Nothing. Zero.
Oh,
Because all he did was talk. Anthony went over there and kicked the door into his chest, and that's why he got a game. So, you know,
smart. Oh, he just runs his mouth. He puts you guys in trouble.
yep, hides behind the bench and his teammates, and then Anthony keeps coming and coming and coming, and then eventually he got to him, but he had to kick the door in to get him. So, but things did cool off after the game, and but Tony's an irritant. Labal will get on your nerves if you let him. He did it to Lino last time, but
You
Lino
think
didn't go and fight him.
you think Anthony's our Antonio Brown?
Maybe. I guess we'll find out when he comes back. But we don't want him stripping because that's not going to be a good thing. You start stripping on the finals. But hopefully you're not an Antonio Brown because you were upset last game, getting all angry in the net. You're gonna start throwing the net over now, Gil.
Yeah, I felt like Patrick Waugh in Montreal. That's what I was about to do that game.
Well, we look forward to the return of Gil Santos as we will be missing both Brad and Anthony for our game. But for those who don't know, we're talking about our ball hockey team. But now that Gil has gotten stuff off his chest, I'm going to get stuff off my chest. I'm going to start with you, Jose. You're supposed to be a big part of this show, you know. And what do? Not only do you fall asleep during the Raptors, who played a great game at home, exciting the whole way, close the whole way. They snuck out a 3-point win. Not only do you fall asleep during the Raptors, proving you're not a real fan, but you also fall asleep on the Reese report. So, everyone wants to talk about Anthony getting suspended. I'm going to have to think about a 1 week suspension for you. I'll have to discuss it with Gil. See if we do a 1 game suspension or make you pay a fine with beer at the hockey game or something, because that's not right. You fall asleep on us like that. Gil, what do you think?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to think about this because Jose, you can't just fall asleep on the research report like that. And we're gonna allow you to make your picks tomorrow, but you better hurry because if I post this show before you make your picks, you're going 0-14 and
Yeah,
you're going back to the back of the pack. So you
yeah.
better be careful. Now that I've gotten that off my chest, now I'm going to talk about my team because if you think Gil's team struggled last week, my defense allowed Marcus Mariota to go undefeated in the first half. No incompletions. He ran amok all over our defense to a 21-14 lead. Now, I'll give Jimmy G credit. They're down 14-0. He came back to make it 14-14. He threw a nice couple of passes to Ayuk, but he only throws the ball like 5 yards because then Ayuk does the rest and runs in the end zone by himself,
Like
right?
always.
Like always, okay? Then at the end of the half, he embarrassed himself by trying to look like Aaron Rodgers. This guy tried to throw a Hail Mary that got to the 10-yard line and it was intercepted easily. Don't throw Hail Marys. Don't throw long passes, Jimmy G. It's not you, okay? Then in the second half, we have Jeff Wilson fumbling. Hey, Jeff Wilson, please can Elijah Mitchell come back? Because this Jeff Wilson's fumbling way too much. The guy fumbles and it cost us 2 games already, okay? He's decent, Jeff Wilson, but we need a starter back, okay? Number 2, Jimmy G, can you please stop having 0 point second halves? Like it's getting really bad now. First is Denver, you get 3 points against them. You get zero against in this last game against Atlanta. Can you stop with the 0 point second halves? You got no excuses. At least Aaron Rodgers has no receiving core. You've got Kittle, you've got Samuel, you've got Ayuk. You are loaded on offense. You have no excuse to be this bad. Okay? So smarten it up, stop turning the ball over, and maybe we'll have a chance to do something with that defense because that defense is ferocious and they had a bad game because Nick Bosa was out. But you got to score more than 14 points a game. It's getting ridiculous now. Okay, you scored 37 against the disaster Carolina Panthers. Anyone could do that. But come on, man. You get 14 against this team, you get 10 against Denver. Like it's a joke now. Like come on. So Jimmy G irritated me again, but now let's go Russell Wilson. My God, I said to myself, you know what? Gil's in Miami. I'm gonna watch this Monday night, even if it's gonna be a terrible game. I'm gonna watch this because I need to see what's really going on with Russell Wilson. This guy's had a Sunday nighter and 2 Monday nighters, and they've been the worst game and a Thursday nighter, and all of these games were horrible. Like just what the worst games you'll ever watch in your life. But I managed to stay up for this one. And as bad as Jimmy G was in the second half, he was not 3 for 11 for 15 yards with 6 punts and a field goal that got caused by an interception by Herbert. That's how horrible Russell Wilson is. How Gil has faith still, I'll never know because they might as well call them the Devil Broncos, like his team, the New Jersey Devils, because that's what they look like. They look like devils because this team is terrible. Now you want to blame the coach? That's cool. You can blame the coach. They, but Russell Wilson in this game was brutal, and he's been terrible the whole season. So yes, Russell Wilson is bothering me, and he's got to be bothering Gil because Gil had to pick up Bailey Zappi. It's that bad right now. His fantasy team is struggling that much. He beat me by 0.5 last week, okay, because I screwed up. But it wasn't like Wilson won him. His kicker had to win him the damn competition.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is for Gil. He had to pick up Bailey Zappi to replace Russell Wilson. That's how bad he's playing right now. So Russell Wilson, that team traded 2 first-rounders and gave you 200 million. Smarten up. And by the way, in case you think it didn't get any worse, his old teammates came out and said we couldn't even talk to the guy when he was in Seattle. They had to go through his management rep to get on the phone with him. That's how much of a diva this guy has become with that long hair of his and his superstar wife. At least Tom Brady talks to his teammates, even though he's got a supermodel wife. Smarten up, Russell Wilson, if you want to win in Denver. Otherwise, you think the team's leaving now. That crowd will boo you out of the stadium and out of Denver in a hurry. So smarten up, Wilson. Now we're gonna get to poor Gil Santos. Okay, yo, I heard of what you said about your team. Yes, they have no receivers. Okay, but it didn't help that Rodgers threw them all under the bus in the preseason. Now he wants to say we need to simplify things. We need to relax. It's a little late for that, Rodgers, when you made them all scared. So now what happens is he makes them all scared in the preseason. You have a drop by Watson, which changes that game around. You have drops by Dobbs. The only guy who can catch the ball is Cobb. And now Cobb's hurt. Alan Lazard, I think he dropped the ball 6 times last week. I'm not kidding. He must have dropped 6 passes last week. It was that bad. So they're all nervous because of Rodgers. Now Rodgers wants to say we need to simplify things. Here's the thing. You want to simplify things? Run the ball on every play. Because Rodgers has 8 interceptions, I think, something like that. Like he has not been good. Okay, you want to blame the receivers, that's fine, but Rodgers has not played well this year. When you have a 14-0 lead against the G-men, you don't lose 27-22 to Daniel Jones. You just don't do that. Okay, now the Packers' rush defense is bad, but when you lose 27-10 to the Jets, that's offense too. You can't only score 10 points against the Jets. That's not good. So here's Rodgers' losses this year, which is bothering me. He lost to Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, and Zach Wilson. I don't care how bad your offense is, you can't lose to those quarterbacks, Rodgers. Even Gil knows. Okay, and Gil is a faithful Green Bay fan, and you're going to go to Buffalo. He ain't taking your ass at Buffalo. There's no way he's not that stupid. Okay, so Aaron,
the people that probably know about my feeling right now was just the frustration that I am with my Packers. I just feel so bad for the Leaf fans watching them lose to the Arizona Coyotes. That must have been horrible. I even forget Arizona's in the league. That's how bad it is.
Gil, they had 4 power plays in the first part of the game, and they had 0 shots on net against Arizona. They haven't beaten Arizona in like over a decade at home. At home, they haven't beaten Arizona in a decade. So they have losses to Montreal and Arizona, the two of the worst teams in the NHL so far. They've lost to, and they look unbelievably pathetic right now. The Leafs, and to the point where they were booed off the ice in the second period. You just gotta love Leaf fans. 4 games in, they're already booing the team off the ice. And Keefe, he looks like a guy who's nervous about losing his job because he's called out his team twice already. So good luck, Leaf fans. It's going to be a long, long season. And by the way, I know this is what's bothering me, but you know what's bothering me? How right I was about Matt Murray. Gil, you could be my witness on this. We talked about this outside of the hockey game before the season started.
Oh,
what
I
did
said this. I said the
what
same
did I
thing.
say was going to happen to Matt Murray? What did I say?
No,
He was going to get hurt. He wasn't the guy, and he was going to get hurt. This guy got hurt in practice, people. He didn't even get hurt in a game. He got hurt in practice.
Well, I didn't talk about hurt, but I said him or Samsonov is not the guy
No,
to any.
no. And by the way, if Samsonov is going well for a couple of games, why do you start Kalgren? Like, it's just stupid. Like, start your Samsonov and wait that because he's playing well, and then you can go start Kalgren after. Like, just don't change a guy who's playing well for you in net. It's just stupid. But yes, Matt Murray, 1 game and 1 practice out with an injury. Okay. And by the way, he got blitzed in the first game. He was terrible. So yes, Steve Souza, if you're watching this, I told you so. And all you Leaf fans that thought he was going to be great because he had a great preseason, the preseason means fuck all. Okay? When the real season starts, that's when the pressure starts. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed that 1 game he played, but this guy's weak on the glove hand. Like he stands there like a robot, and there's so many holes you could shoot the puck anywhere it's going to go in. So yes, he's a bad goaltender now. He had a couple of good years with my Penguins, and he's injury prone all the time. So good luck with Samsonov and Calgary Leaf fans. And if you can't score more than 2 goals against Arizona, you're going to have a long season. So that's not what bothered me because that made me happy. But, I get to talk about Leaf fans. And, that's always something that gets me going. So that's what bothered me this week. Um, you know, players and teams got to smarten up. There's just stupid stuff going on in the NFL, and just you know, players throwing teams under the bus. And yes, our hockey team just play smarter. That's all. We shouldn't struggle. We shouldn't be struggling this bad to win games. Just play smarter. We had a nice game 2 weeks ago, and we're gonna be missing guys again. But like, we missed guys all of last year, and we did okay. You know, and we gotta be better. That's all. Just play for each other and play smarter, play better. But we'll see what happens with all of our boys from Miami coming back. But that's what's bothering us for this week. We're sorry we didn't have Jose, but you see, he fell asleep on us, and that bothers me. And so we dealt with him, and I'll deal with him tomorrow. But yes, the thing that bothered me the most was Jose missing the show because he fell asleep. So keep that in mind. Um, but Gil is here, and I'm very happy he came on the show. Uh, we're gonna have our Miami show. I promise you guys. I know we've had requests from people. We're gonna have the Miami show. We just have to get Jose Gil and Tony together to talk about this. Gil has already said it was a disaster. So as soon as I hear that, it's gonna be a great show. We'll try to do that at some point this week. But that's what's bothering us for this week. I'm the mouth of the North Andrews. This is GilBay Santos late on a Wednesday night. We will see you next week or soon for the Miami show on the Reese Report.